Let me ask you something. If somebody gave you 5 extra hours this week, what would you do with them? Would you spend them with your family? Would you finally do something for yourself? Would you rest? Would you take a day off without feeling like you should be doing something? Or would you just fill those 5 hours with more work? Because if we're being truthful, for a lot of women in real estate, that's exactly what would happen. You don't necessarily have a time problem. You have an access problem. Everyone has access to your time. Your clients, prospects, your phone, your email, your business, your family. The people who need just one quick thing. And somewhere along the way, you ended up at the bottom of your own calendar. So today, I don't want to talk to you about how to squeeze more into your day. I want to talk about something much more important. How to get your time back. Because your business should never require you to abandon yourself. So let's talk about it. Are you a woman in real estate whose mind never stops, yet you still feel stuck? Do you struggle to unplug without guilt? Hi, I'm Lesa Fry, wife, mom, grandma, realtor for over 3 decades, and a certified life and business coach for women in real estate. I help high-achieving women build profitable, sustainable businesses without the burnout. If you're ready to trade overwhelm for clarity and create a business that honors your values and your life, you're in the right place. So take a deep breath, close those 12 browser tabs, and drop the hustle. It's time to experience balance as a woman in real estate. Before we get into today's episode, I want to give you a little heads up about something I have coming in September. I'm putting together a brand new masterclass entitled Build a Business That Supports Your Life. And today's conversation will give you a little taste of why I created it. Because there comes a point when we have to stop asking, how can I fit more into my business? And start asking, does the business I've built actually support the life I want to live? If you've created success, but don't have enough time or space to actually enjoy it, stay tuned. I'll be sharing all the details about the masterclass very soon. But for now, keep this question in mind. Does your business support your life? Or has your life started revolving around your business? Okay, let's get into today's episode. Happy Wednesday, ladies. I hope you're all doing amazing. Before we talk about time, I have to acknowledge something. This is episode 50. Can you believe it, ladies? 50 episodes. I am definitely celebrating that today. When I started Balance for Women in Real Estate, I wanted to create a space where experienced women in this industry could have conversations that I didn't think we were having enough. Not just conversations about how to sell more houses, not just how to generate more leads or how to make more money, because you can find that information everywhere, right? I wanted us to talk about the woman behind the business, the woman who's been doing this for years, the woman who's successful on paper, but exhausted in real life, the woman who knows how to take care of her clients, her business, and everybody around her, but unfortunately, she may have stopped taking care of herself. And 50 episodes later, there is one thing I hope you've heard me say over and over again. Your business should never require you to abandon yourself. And I can't think of a better topic for episode 50 than time. Because when I speak with women in real estate, one of the things I hear constantly is, I just don't have enough time. I need to get better at managing my time. There aren't enough hours in the day. I feel like I'm always behind. I need to get more organized. Maybe you've said some of those things yourself. And I want to challenge that today. Because I don't think you need more time. I think you need your time back. As you're listening to this episode, I'm on vacation. I'm spending time with my hubby and my grandkids. And yes, I knew this episode was going to drop while I was away, so I planned for it. I recorded it before I left. I made sure the things that needed to be done were done. And then I left. I didn't say, well, I can't go because my podcast comes out on Wednesday. I didn't say, maybe I should just wait until there's a better time. I created the space because this is what I mean when I say your business should support your life. What's the point of building a successful business if you never have time to enjoy the life that the business is supposed to provide? Think about it. We work so hard to create freedom. Financial freedom, time freedom, the ability to make our own schedules. That's one of the reasons many of us were attracted to real estate in the first place. We didn't want someone else telling us when we could take lunch, when we could take vacation, when we could go to the doctors, when we could spend time with our families. So we became entrepreneurs. And then, somehow, we created businesses where everybody else gets to tell us when we're available. A client texts and we answer. A lead calls and we pick up. An email comes in and we respond. Somebody wants to see a house tonight and suddenly our plans change. Somebody says, "Are you available Saturday?" And before we even check our calendar, we say yes. And we call that flexibility. But honestly, ladies, sometimes it's not flexibility. Sometimes it's a lack of boundaries. Sometimes it's a lack of systems. And sometimes we've gotten so used to being available that we don't even realize how much of our time we're giving away. Here's something I want you to remember. You really can't manage time. Time's going to do what time does. There are 24 hours in the day. You get them, I get them, everybody gets them. What you can manage is what gets access to those hours. That's a completely different conversation. Because if you keep thinking, I need better time management, you're probably going to go look for another planner, another app, another productivity system, and another way to color code your calendar. And listen, I love a good system. I actually love my color-coded calendar. I absolutely believe in planning. But a beautiful planner can't fix a business that has unlimited access to you. A time block calendar doesn't work if you allow everyone else to override the blocks. A morning routine doesn't help much if you're checking email before your feet hit the floor. And a vacation isn't really a vacation if you're sitting by the pool answering client messages. So instead of asking, how can I manage my time better? I want you to start asking, who and what currently has access to my time? And then ask yourself, do they need the level of access I'm giving them? Those two questions may tell you more about your time problem than any productivity book ever will. Let's talk about 4 time leaks that I see. Number 1 is reactivity. One of the biggest things stealing your time is probably reactivity. Real estate trains us to react. The phone rings, answer it. The text comes in, respond. A showing request comes through, figure it out. An inspection problem comes up, handle it. Something happens right before settlement, fix it. And yes, there are definitely things in this business that require our attention. But everything does not require our immediate attention. Those are 2 very different things. Some of you have been in this business long enough that you've trained people to expect immediate access to you. And now you're exhausted by the expectation that you helped create. Now, this doesn't mean you've done anything wrong, but it does mean you can create something different. You can establish communication hours. You can tell clients when they can expect a response. You can stop treating every notification like an emergency. You can decide that dinner with your family gets protected. You can decide that your morning belongs to you before it belongs to your business. And you can decide that your phone doesn't get to dictate your day. Because every time you immediately react to something, you're allowing someone else's priority to become yours. Time leak number 2, doing everything yourself. You're doing things you should no longer be doing. And I know why. Because you're good at them. Because you know how to do them. Because sometimes it's faster to just do it yourself, right? And because you've started saying to yourself, I can handle it. And that's become part of your identity. But just because you can do something doesn't mean you should still be the person doing it, especially at this stage of your business. There are things you were doing when you first started in real estate because you had to. But you've been doing this for years now. Why are you still doing all of them? What could be automated? What could be delegated? What could be templated? What could somebody else handle 80% as well as you? And that would be perfectly fine. Because every task you refuse to release takes time away from something else. And I don't just mean another business task. It might be taking time away from your husband, your children, your grandchildren, your friendships, your health, your hobbies, your rest, your life. So when you say, it's easier if I just do it myself, I want you to consider the real cost of easier. Time leak number 3, not deciding what matters. Another reason that we feel like we don't have enough time is because everything has become important. Ladies, everything can't be a priority. I know we use the word priorities all the time, but when you have 15 priorities, you really don't have any. So every week, I want you to ask yourself, what actually matters this week? What are the things that if I accomplish them, move my business forward? And what are the things that simply make me feel busy? Because there's a difference between being busy and being productive. You can spend an entire day working and still not do anything that creates revenue. You can answer emails, update Canva graphics, move things around in your CRM, check social media, organize your desk, watch another training, and at 6 p.m., you're exhausted. But did you have a conversation with a potential client? Did you follow up? Did you make an offer? Did you do the work that actually moves the business forward? When you know what matters, you don't have to spend 12 hours doing everything. You can spend focused time doing the right things. Time leak number 4, you aren't on your own calendar. Now, this is a big one. Look at your calendar. Seriously, not right this second if you're driving, but later today, look at it and ask yourself, where am I on this calendar? Not your clients, not appointments, not closing, prospecting, not meetings. You. Where's your lunch? Where's your walk? Where's your doctor's appointment? Where's your quiet time? Where is date night? Where is time for your girlfriends? Where's the vacation? Where's the afternoon when you're simply not available? If you say those things matter to you, but they never make it onto your calendar, then your calendar and your values are telling 2 different stories. And that is something I want you to pay attention to. Because the life you want doesn't happen with whatever time is left over. You have to create room for it. And sometimes that means putting your life on the calendar first and allowing the business to fit around it. This is where I really want you to think differently about time management. What if your goal wasn't to get more done? What if your goal was to get the right things done and still have something left for yourself? That's a very different definition of productivity. And I think it's especially important for those of us who are in a different season of life. What worked for you at 30 may not be what you want at 50, 60, 70, or beyond. And that's okay. Maybe there is a season when you were willing to work nights and weekends. Maybe there was a season when you were building. Maybe you were raising children. Maybe you were proving something. Maybe you were chasing a particular number. But you get to decide what success looks like now. You don't have to keep running your business according to the rules you created 10 or 20 years ago. Your priorities can change. Your energy can change. Your goals can change. Your definition of enough can change. And your business can change with you. And this is where my all framework comes in. We start with a line. Before you change your calendar, you have to know what you're trying to create. What do you actually want your life to look like? Not your business, your life. How many hours do you want to work? What do you want your mornings to feel like? How often do you want to travel? How much time do you want with your family? What do you want your weekends to look like? How much money is enough for the life that you want? Those questions matter because you can't create a schedule that supports your life if you've never decided what kind of life you're trying to support. Then we learn. This is where we look at balance and boundaries. If you know what matters to you, what boundaries need to exist to protect it? Maybe it's no client calls after a certain time. Maybe Sundays belong to your family. Maybe you don't check email first thing in the morning. Maybe you stop saying yes before checking your calendar. Maybe you actually take a fully unplugged vacation. And maybe, imagine this, you don't apologize for it. Boundaries aren't about being unavailable to your clients. They're about making sure you're also available for your life. And then we leverage. Systems, support, automation, delegation. This is where you stop making yourself the system. Because if everything in your business requires you, you don't have a business that supports your life. You have a business that depends on your constant presence. And those are not the same thing. The goal isn't for your business to never need you. Of course it needs you. You're the leader. You're the expert. You're the relationship builder. But it shouldn't need you for every single thing. Your business needs to be able to breathe when you step away. Just like mine is breathing right now while I'm away with my family. So here's what I want you to do after this episode. I want you to do what I'm calling a time back audit. Pull out your calendar from the last 7 days. And ladies, don't judge yourself. Just look. Ask yourself these 4 questions. Number 1, where did my time actually go? Not where you intended for it to go. Where did it actually go? Number 2, what did I spend time on that didn't require me? Look for things that could have been delegated, automated, templated, or eliminated. Number 3, where did I allow someone else's urgency to override my priorities? That one might sting a little. That's okay. Notice it. And finally, number 4, where was I on my calendar? Where did you make room for your own life? And if the answer is, I really didn't, that's information, not something to beat yourself up about. It's information you can use to make a different decision next week. Getting your time back doesn't mean you never work hard. I work hard. I love my business. I love coaching. I love this podcast. Getting your time back means you decide. You decide when you're available. You decide what deserves your attention. You decide what looks like enough. You decide when the business gets your energy and when your life gets your energy. That's freedom. And isn't that what so many of us were looking for when we became entrepreneurs in the first place? Not just the freedom to make money, the freedom to live. So here we are, 50 episodes, And while this episode is dropping, I'm spending time with some of the people I love most, my husband and my grandkids. I'm probably at Legoland on somebody's roller coaster or sitting poolside. I'm making memories. I'm enjoying my life. And I want that for you too. Not my version of it, yours. Maybe your version isn't a vacation with the grandkids. Maybe it's sitting on your deck with a book. Maybe it's taking Friday afternoons off. Maybe it's traveling or volunteering. Maybe it's spending more time with your girlfriends. Maybe it's simply being able to sit through dinner without looking at your phone. Whatever your version is, I want you to remember something. You're not building a business so that you can spend your entire life working. You're building a business to help create the life you want to live. And if the business isn't allowing you to live that life, then something needs to change. You don't need another hour, and you don't need another productivity hack. You don't need to become better at squeezing yourself into whatever time your business leaves behind. You need your time back, and you are allowed to take it. Because your business should never require you to abandon yourself. Ladies, here's to the next 50 episodes. And more importantly, here's to building success without sacrificing the life we're working so hard to create. Thanks for joining me today, ladies, and I'll be in your ears again next week. Rested, refocused, and ready to chat with you again. Hey, ladies, I hope today's episode gave you something to think about and a little more breathing room as you move through your week. If it resonated, I'd love for you to share it with a friend, hit follow, and take a moment to leave a review. Your reviews mean the world to me, and they help more women find this podcast. For more support and connection, you're welcome to join my free Facebook community at bit.ly/thebalancedbusinesswoman, where we continue these conversations together. That link will be in my show notes. Until next week, take care of yourself. And remember, your business should fit your life, not the other way around.